Welcome to the hottest wellness podcast, I've Got Time, with Cherry ShaKayla.
Here we discuss personal growth, relationships, and healing to become aligned with the best version of ourselves.
Hey. What's up, beautiful?
How you doing today?
I'm doing great, I'm here next to you. It's a decent day outside. It's not extremely cold, but it's sweater weather. Sweater weather.
Oh my goodness. I'm really hating that it's starting to get cold, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I really come alive in the summertime, and I feel like I really didn't get the opportunity to do that. I mean, that's my fault, but I don't want the winter to come.
Yeah. Dang, you feeling okay though? What's up with you?
I'm feeling good. I'm trying to feel myself out and get into me. ShaKayla, the spiritual teacher, Reiki practitioner.
Yeah, go off.
So I'm feeling the vibes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I just announced my first retreat that I'm co-hosting with two of my friends. One of them being Reiki Tay and the other one being Katora. And our first retreat is going to be in April of 2024. So if you're interested in coming out, get the healing vibes, you know what I'm saying? Get your Reiki on, get some yoga, message me for details.
Yeah. When do y'all have a link for it yet?
Yeah, it's like an Eventbrite link. So
we need to put that in the description.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
And speaking of descriptions, we have had a couple of people reach out that want to start podcasts themselves. We listed some products that we use, kind of everything that we use. If you guys want to hit those links, they're in the YouTube description. So if you're listening, make your way.
And subscribe while you're at it.
Yes.
So, how you doing?
How you doing? I'm good.
I see you're rocking the original logo, before I joined the podcast. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. The original I've Got Time cover.
Do you ever miss it, the show without me? Like, it just being your show?
I wouldn't say I miss it being my show. Sometimes I just miss writing the stories. Because I haven't written like that in quite some time. But yeah, it's fun creating the stories, putting the background noises in. Sometimes I just miss that stuff, but not
actually staying up all night and recording it.
Yeah.
You guys definitely should check out the earlier episodes in the earlier seasons of the podcast, because Cherry literally had a whole scripted series. It was so good. She was doing all the voices, like the amount of talent. Chef's kiss. Gotta love to see it.
Thanks.
So, is there anything you want to get off your chest this week?
I like the way you said that. Anything I want to get off my chest. I just want people to stop doing dumb stuff. I've said this before. I can't give too much detail because it's work related. Not this work. The other work. But y'all gotta think. Your parents can't take care of you when you're not near them. Think on your own. That's all I got.
Okay. Well, it's the couple things that I wanted to talk about. If you guys have seen the latest, well, this ain't even the most recent, because I think she did another one after this, but Bobby Altoff, she had Offset on her podcast. And I'm not gonna lie, I was living for the way that he was reading her. She was throwing hella microaggressions. My issue with this podcast is that she only has black rappers as the guests. That's very weird. I feel like she's pandering to the black community, and she's basically getting hate likes. And I don't know who's enjoying this. I think it's weird as fuck. I think it's so weird to invite somebody on your show and disrespect them and say, I don't even know who you are. Never heard of you. I wouldn't even recommend you to my friends. How are she getting these guests? Who is paying the tab on this? It's pissing me off. And it pissed me off even more like when I first watched it. I like had expressed to you like I felt kind of jealous because I was like, this girl just only been podcasting a couple of months. We've been podcasting for years and are still not at the level of success that she just got in a couple of months. And that's on white privilege, but it's also on black people not supporting black people. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Did you have anything to say about the interview?
I was mildly entertained just off Offset. But that was it. It is very strange how the black male rappers are just so drawn to this young woman. And like, this is where they want to go.
There's so many other podcasts that they could be featured on. First of all, actually really get asked good questions. Because I'm going to tell you, she's a shitty interviewer. Like,
I don't even think the point is to actually interview. She's just there to be this character.
I don't know. I actually hate it.
She don't be asking questions for real.
Well, the next thing that I wanted to get off my chest, and I'm going to make it quick, is this AI consciousness, okay? We in the age of Aquarius. We knew it was coming, the technology advancements, but to me, I've expressed this before, AI technology is very dangerous because anybody can use it in any which way. And there is a company going around that is buying people's consciousness, literally to put it into an AI program and then doing whatever they want with it. Like literally shopping it around to different influencers, paying $30 to $50K depending on who it is. And depending on the influencer, they might need that money and they're like, okay, let me do it. And then they start using, you know, their likeness. You basically selling your likeness. You know, I just want to bring this up to bring awareness to this and just like so people can be careful, be mindful, look into stuff, and you know, ultimately like don't put your life in the hands of technology. That's actually crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild. I feel like this might be conspiracy level, but I feel like all those filters and stuff that they be using, all those AI filters, I think that that's a part of them just taking your likeness.
I think it's a facial recognition program because, you know, there's like cameras all over the United States. And so they be like picking up on our location, where we at, what we're doing, especially if you got your location turned on your phone. To me, it's the facial recognition program. Like,
yeah,
you know, and it's weird. You're constantly being watched by the government at all times. That's why people be having those little clips on their laptops, over their camera, even over their phone. Anything can be hacked. Anything can be tapped into. And y'all are literally just giving these people easy access.
Yeah.
Get it together.
Be careful out there, y'all.
You want to get into the affirmation of the week?
Let's do it.
I'm proud of us for get it off so quickly. I really am. Mainly me. This week's affirmation is, every idea is worth exploring. Period.
Facts.
So, I guess we can get into the main topic. What are we discussing today, baby?
On today, we are talking about rest and rejuvenation.
Yeah. I really wanted to talk about this and kind of branch off our last week's topic because we talked about energy and we lightly tapped into conserving or protecting your energy. But I think we really didn't get into like rebuilding your energy. You know what I'm saying? And I think that people are resting, but they're not rejuvenating. And that's why they don't have much energy to give in the first place. Or, you know, they be depressed and all that jazz.
Don't at me, though.
Girl. So I guess I just wanted to talk about first, what is the difference between rest and rejuvenation? What do you think? How do you feel about it?
Well, Rest is sitting your ass down. Rejuvenation is filling yourself up.
Mm. Yeah, I feel that. When I reflected on it, I was like, okay, when I'm resting, to me, it's like a period of reflection. You know, I go inside myself, I notice things. It's like a moment to have self-awareness. And then it's also a moment to cultivate peace in myself, inner peace, and just to slow down. When you're resting, you should slow down. So that don't mean you stop working altogether. But if you're in a restful state, that means you need to slow down. Take it easy. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. Give yourself grace.
Yeah.
Give yourself more time to finish tasks. Like, to me, that's like more rest. And then rejuvenation is like exactly what you said, like building yourself up, restoring yourself, pouring back into yourself.
Yeah. Alexa, play Slow Down by Alicia Keys. You got to slow down.
I don't know her.
Oh.
Why do you think it's so important, like, I guess, to rejuvenate and to rest?
Because if you just rest, you're not going to feel like you rested. I feel like rejuvenating is like, it flows into the rest. Because you can sleep all day, you can not do much all day, but if you're not finding a way to, I guess, motivate internally, not like in a, yeah, I can do it, but just in a, okay, I can do it, then the rest doesn't really matter.
Yeah. This like remind me, like, I'm one of those persons like that's very much like bed peace. Like, I will lay in my bed all day, and like my best friend was like, I mean, no wonder you depressed. You literally don't even get out the bed. And I was like, I mean, like, I'm comfortable here. Like, this is what I want to be doing. And even though I was resting all day, and you would think that would be doing something for me, I literally was not pouring anything back into myself. And I feel like it's important to pour back in yourself because you just won't have the energy to do other things. You won't have the energy to work. You won't have the energy to learn. You won't have the energy to nurture other people or nurture yourself.
Yeah.
And that makes you basically useless.
Damn.
I mean, you're not no use to yourself. How you going to be a use to anybody else?
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, rejuvenation is really the key. So, do you have to do stuff to be rejuvenated?
I feel like it's different for everybody, you know. It's like back to that question that I always ask is, how am I feeling right now and what do I need? So when you know, meditate over that and you say, okay, what I need is this. What I need is a creative outlet. Then you're going to figure out what is your creative outlet. It might be like painting. It might be writing, you know. There's so many things, you know what I'm saying, that you could be doing that's creative. Like, when I think about the times that I was the happiest, it was because I was creating something, you know, that I put a lot of energy and time into creating things. Because it was pouring back to me at the same time I was giving energy to my art. It was putting fulfillment back into me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how you think you rejuvenate?
I think I rejuvenate by creating, yes. Like writing music, or when I do feel inspired to write a story. Working out is rejuvenating for me. When I work out, I feel like I can do anything. It just makes me feel like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah, I feel that.
And playing video games sometimes.
Oh, yeah. That's like a slippery slope for me. Because it could start off as rejuvenation, but it could slide right into rest. So, yeah. Got to be careful with things that are unhealthy coping mechanisms. You know, you got to think about that. It's what you're doing to rejuvenate yourself. Is it really pouring back into you? Or is it putting you back at square A? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I know for sure if I smoke, I'm just going to lay down and chill, for real. Like, it's not going to put me in the mood to, like, do anything. So it's like, that's more of a rest activity. That's not a rejuvenation activity at all. At least not for me. For other people, it might be different. It's like, what works for you? And, like, you have to figure that out for yourself, and also not compare either to what somebody might be doing in their journey that seems rejuvenating. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, rejuvenating could be a bubble bath, you know what I'm saying? It could be reading a book. That could be rejuvenating. Like, there's so many things, so many hobbies, activities that is going to add fulfillment to your life. Even sometimes spending time with my kids could be rejuvenating, depending on what we're doing and if they're not arguing.
That's the key right there.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to get along. You just said something, and I realized that's rejuvenating for me, too. Oh, reading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Reading makes me feel accomplished.
Yeah. I'm on this reading to learn kick. I haven't read a book for entertainment in a while, but I'm just obsessed with learning more. And so I love a good book that is going to teach me something, and I'm going to walk away and I feel like, oh, I can share this information with other people. This is going to be so helpful. So, to me, it's so rejuvenating to read. I love it.
Yeah. And I realized the other day, I'm not a reader on my phone, girl. I went to that book one time. It's just, I don't go to my phone for that, so I'm never going to get through that book. I'm going to have to buy a physical copy.
Yeah, I'm definitely the opposite of you. I love a good audio book. I love something that I can multitask with a little bit. Or just like, I start getting bored after a while reading the pages. I start feeling restless, you know what I'm saying? And so I feel like doing an audio book allows me to do something else and read, so that I'm not like having ADHD moments, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people are like that. A lot of people just like to feel the book, to turn the pages. Like, it's a whole experience. It's a vibe.
It is.
Well, I did want to talk about the 7 types of rest. I had no clue that this was a thing, but then after like looking into it and reading on it, I was like, okay, this makes sense. It almost to me was the same thing as like the different type of energy exchanges that you be having. Like, some of them overlap, so that was interesting. Yeah. So I checked out this article. It's called ideas.ted.com is where the article is, and it says the 7 types of rest that every person needs. Okay, we could tag this into the description. Okay. So I just kind of want to go through the different types. All right, so there is physical rest, but then that's where it comes to rest or rejuvenation. There's like active or passive physical rest. So if it's like passive physical rest, you know, you might be chilling, you may be laying down, but that's not really doing anything for you. But if you're in active physical rest, then it's actually giving you energy back.
Is that like the creating and stuff?
Yeah, or like doing yoga, meditating, you know, whatever it is for you.
Okay.
The second type of rest is mental rest. And for me personally, it's very difficult to like have mental rest because I'm just an overthinker. I'm constantly thinking about stuff. There's constantly something on my mind. Like, I'm never not thinking about anything. And I don't know how to have mental rest. I have not got there yet.
You know, I feel like sometimes I can only have mental rest if I'm outside. And I just focus on nature or the sounds or something outside.
Yeah. They noted here in this article that a good thing to promote mental rest is to journal. So it's like, once you get your ideas out on paper, then it's taking up less space in your mind. And so I was like, okay, now if I could actually apply that in real life, then I might be doing something.
You can do it.
I felt like, oh my God, this is the third type of rest is sensory rest. And I was like, dang, this is like something that I really, really be needing. And like, I think people don't be understanding for me. Like, it's sensory rest. So that means like rest from like bright lights, maybe being on your phone, being stimulated, being touched. Anything where your senses is being activated. You guys know what the 5 senses is. Not you thinking about it. Even like background noise, or you know, when you having multiple conversations. Like, I was just in Cleveland last week, and my sister was on the phone with my cousin and my grandma and my auntie and my brother, and they was all talking at the same time. I was like telling my sister, like, isn't this overstimulating for you? Like, how can you even think? How can you even hear? And she's like, I mean, well, you get used to it, you know, after a minute. I'm like, girl, I can't do it, you know?
It's too many people talking at once.
Yeah. I think for this one, you definitely have to intentionally unplug, have some moments of isolation, you know what I'm saying? And that's a real thing. Why you being like this?
Like what?
Say what you need to say.
I understand how it's challenging, you know, especially when you don't live alone. Like, even if it's not even if you're not living with like the person that you with, it's like, if you're just living with anybody, you can't control what they doing.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. You know, that's why I do look forward to my weeks where we don't have the kids. As much as I be missing them or wishing they was here all the time, it's like, thank God that I can't have those moments. You know what I'm saying? Because, girl, I be needing it. Like, if it's not Max playing his game, then it's Eva screaming and hollering or maybe crying. You know, like, she demands a lot of attention on her own, period. Like, you got to play with that girl. You know, and then you're like very affectionate too. You like always want to be touching, and sometimes I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. And I don't want you to take it personally. It's just that obviously my battery's really low in that area, you know. The fourth type of rest is creative rest. And this was very intriguing to me because last week I seen a post on Instagram and it said, creatives, don't feel pressure that you need to post every day. And that's definitely something I struggle with, like feeling guilty, feeling like if I don't post this day, then my engagement's going to be messed up. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially for the podcast platforms.
It's hard, man. It's... Let me not say it's hard. It's not that it's hard. It's just the behind the scenes of it all, to get it, to be ready to post something all the time. It's just, it takes a lot.
Yeah, and that's exactly why you need rest from it, you know?
Yeah.
I really want to get to the point where I can like batch create, and then it will be more intentional of having that creative rest, you know what I'm saying? So then it's just like just posting, you know, that's not taking a lot of energy, but actually creating and creating and creating it every day, constantly trying to come up with new ideas and new strategies. It's like a lot. So they recommend absolutely getting outside in nature, grounding yourself, and just not really doing anything but enjoying the vibes, the scenery, the sounds, the smells, like what you were saying.
Yeah. I fuck with it. Y'all go outside.
Or even if you are creative and like you're usually making the art, maybe you should enjoy the art. Find some inspiration. Just wind down, you know?
Yeah.
The next type of rest was emotional rest. Yeah. I actually want to read this one. It's just short, but it's like, I can't sum this up in better words, so I just want to read it verbatim. It says, this person requires emotional rest, which means having the time and space to freely express your feelings and cut back on people pleasing. Emotional rest also requires the courage to be authentic. An emotionally rested person can answer the question, how are you feeling today? With it truthful, I'm not okay. And then maybe going on to share hard things that otherwise go unsaid.
Working on it.
I feel like emotional rest is big on having boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like what we were saying last week about the physical energy exchange and also the mental or emotional energy exchange. Like all of that is like, I have to create a boundary for myself, not so that other people, but just for myself. Like, okay, girl, this, I know this is my limit every day, and so that's all I have to give. That's like one thing I really admire about my sister, but it also be pissing me off sometimes. It's like, she is very, like, when she get off of work, she really don't want to be talking or none of that stuff. So she has like a very low social battery to do anything outside of work. And it's like, it took her a while to get to that point to say to people like, yeah, just know I'm not going to answer my phone. Like, that's the thing. They be like, yeah, she ain't going to answer her phone when you call her. Because, you know, she just like, I have to make an appointment with my sister. I have to text her like, hey, sis, you busy? Can you talk? And like, I had to learn that boundary, you know, that was her really protecting her peace. Yeah.
I feel like I need her to give me some advice.
Call her up. They also said that emotional rest is heavily tied to social rest. And so if you need help in the emotional rest area, then you are probably socially deficient as well.
Like, I need to be social?
No, you need to be social less. Like, that means that you have less energy to engage with people, go out, do things, talk to people, socializing.
Yeah, that's a fact.
It's important to recognize the relationships that you have, which ones that when you speak to them, the energy exchange is very balanced. The people who pour into you at times and you pour into them at times, or the people who straight up exhaust your energy. And that's what I like to call energy vampires. And it's like, nothing against them, because like I said before, I used to be an energy vampire because I wasn't aware of what I was doing. And I also was unsure of myself. So I was constantly asking other people for validation and for advice. But that is something that comes with self-awareness and growth. So it's like, no shade. We all been there at certain places, our journey, but you got to be aware of which of the people that you in relationships with that is just like, not today.
Yeah. I think I've been able to recognize, but I haven't been able to communicate. Because I'm not sure how to do it in a way where I'll get the least reaction. Because I also, I don't know how to say this in a nicer way. I don't care. I don't think that's accurate. I care. If I didn't care, then I would just communicate.
Yeah.
I just don't want the burden of, now you feel bad. So now I'm going back on that boundary and I'm giving you what you want, you know?
Yeah. That's something that you're just going to have to learn. Obviously, you have to learn more with communicating with certain people. Like, you know, I feel like when you grow, it's hard to have growth in some of your longest relationships because they're used to you being a certain type of person, you know what I mean? And you might constantly have to reaffirm your boundaries and say to yourself like, this, I can't keep doing this because it's too much for me. And then honestly, it's really not your business how people react to what you tell them. Like, if it's how you say it is important for sure. Like, you don't want to be like aggressive. You don't want to be like shaming the person or making them feel bad or nothing. You just want to like keep it real with them. Like, listen, girl, I really just don't be having it in me, and it's not something that fulfills me for real. Like, and they're going to have feelings about it, but their feelings is not your responsibility, and that's where you have to learn that, you know. So
It's so hard.
And the final type of rest is spiritual rest.
Mm-hmm.
And this means having the ability to get engaged in something outside of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like having a higher purpose, being connected to not just spiritually, but just to the physical world as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's this thing that's called psychosis, spiritual psychosis.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like basically when somebody is getting so involved in spirituality and they're like not grounded, they start just being a conspiracy freak and like nothing in their life is making sense. Every angel number means something. Like they cannot be present in what's actually going on in their real life because their head is so much in the clouds. Like they're so connected spiritually, but they are not connected to the physical plane at all. And girl, that will put your ass in the mental hospital fast.
Yeah.
Fast. Like, you have to be grounded. You have to be in tune with yourself and what's going on with your body. And like all of the parts of yourself is supposed to work together. You know, your spiritual, your physical, your emotional, your mental. Everything has to be functioning and aligned for it to be, you know, for you to be doing good and to be fulfilled and to be happy each day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That balance is key. It makes me think about, well, in this moment, it makes me think about people that may or may not be houseless. But you know, sometimes they'll be saying things like, I'm a high priestess. And things like that. Like, there was an incident at my job like that where somebody was saying that. And I be thinking sometimes, like, you're probably right, but you got lost in it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we got here.
Yeah.
Because I be believing them when they say stuff like that.
I mean, it really depends.
On the situation.
Yeah, it depends. A lot of people really are high priestesses. It's not uncommon. But I will say that spirituality is becoming something that is in exchange for money now. And so it attracts a lot of people who just want to say that they're part of the community or that they're doing something. They could change your life or they can give you a tarot reading. And they really have no connection to spirituality at all. They're not in tune. They're not receiving channel message, downloads, none of that. They just in it for a quick dollar.
That's crazy because I don't understand how you fake that.
I mean, people are so gullible because they just want to hear something. They want to be validated. Like, the worst thing is those love reading channels on YouTube. They will suck you in. Like, somebody who is just, like, desperate to be in a relationship, desperate to be with that person. They're going to keep going back and paying those people for readings because it's giving them some type of comfort because in real life, it's not there.
Yeah.
Like, they want to know, is he coming back?
He's not coming back. He left for those cigarettes 3 years ago.
Girl, not 3 years.
The store is up the block.
I think it's really important to note, though, that having extreme exhaustion could be symptoms of a physical illness. And so you should get that checked out if, you know, you feel like you're doing all the things and you still too fucking tired.
Yeah, you need to go to a doctor.
Like, you know, definitely. And we're not medical experts or anything, so we can't really give you advice on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to move into mental health matters?
Mental health matters. Yeah.
It's the yeah. Today, I wanted to talk about JOMO.
JOMO.
Yes. The joy of missing out.
Yeah.
I feel like this is something that it took me a while to get here. But now that I'm here, oh man, do I find so much joy in missing out on things.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. I'm a homebody, you know. I enjoy being at home. I enjoy socializing sometimes. But you know what I'm saying? Sometimes. Not all the time. And so then that comes with the boundaries with yourself of like, okay, you keep getting invited to go places and do things and be part of conversations, but is this for your highest good? Is this in alignment with you right now?
Yeah.
And I feel like then, you have less fear of missing out. It's like, what's everybody doing? Am I, are they going to be taking picture and I'm not going to be part of the pictures? Like, last week when I was home, like I said, I was going for my initiation, but my brother was also having a baby shower. Now, the hours of my brother's baby shower, I should have been able to stay there for like a couple of hours, but ended up getting pushed back to, I really didn't have that much time to spend with him or his girlfriend. And I had to get to my initiation by a certain time. And like the whole time I was there, it was like I couldn't be present in what was going on in the initiation because I was so like worried and thinking about, oh my God, I'm missing out on this time with my family. Like I have to choose between my spirituality and my family. And like it would have been, I could have had more ease and enjoyment in what I was doing in that moment if I like had that JOMO,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, especially since you were still doing something that you wanted to do,
something that I've been waiting to do for weeks, that I've been investing time and energy and money into, like,
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
What do you think about JOMO?
It's an on and off thing that I think I have. I'm staying at home. I'm not going anywhere, mostly for anxiety reasons, but I don't know. When I do have, well, specifically in the past, when I did used to go out and finally hang around people, I'd be ready to go after 5 minutes. Like, I just want to go home, and it's like, in the summertime, I would feel like, oh my gosh, everybody's hanging out and having fun, and I'm here. I'm missing out on everything. And then when I go participate, it's like, oh my gosh, nobody wants to leave. So.
And that's really on being in tune. Like we said last week, understanding yourself and your needs. And if you need more time to be alone, or even just understanding the feelings that you have, like being anxious when you're in those settings, why would you keep putting yourself in that situation? Like, it's very joyous for me to not have anxiety. So I'm going to stay the fuck home where I don't have to experience that emotion or lower myself to a vibration of anxiety,
Yeah.
Because then you got to climb your way back up. Like, who's got time for that?
Yeah. It'd be hard, though, especially when it really look like people having fun.
Yeah. But it's definitely important to have boundaries with yourself. Like, you have to tell yourself, like, no. Like, if I had that kind of party lifestyle, I'd be like, okay, you can go out one night a week, and that's it. Where maybe when I was younger, I would go out all the nights of the week, So, yeah. And now I don't go out at all. Like, life has really changed. In a good way.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to get into forest bias?
Let's do it.
Not the bias. Forest bias, of course, is where we highlight or talk about, within our community, being black, sometimes the queer community. It just depends on what it is. And sometimes we even include the brown community. You know what I'm saying?
Brown skin.
So today is October 9th, which is Indigenous Peoples Day. It used to be celebrated as Columbus Day, and some people still celebrate that, which is very weird. Even my son, he's 10 years old, and he told me, like, Columbus was this, and that. Like, he knew, you know what I'm saying? He was like, he stole and everything for the indigenous people, and I feel like I'm doing a good job as a mom.
Yeah.
It's very important that we do celebrate the indigenous community on this day instead of for Christopher Columbus, because why would he ever be celebrated for colonizing the United States? It's crazy. And destroying a huge culture, like, separating so many tribes. Like, indigenous people would not be receiving government checks if what they did to them wasn't so bad, So it's just something to think about, to appreciate all that they offer to the land, the energies and spirits that's always constantly around us that are indigenous, and like, I fuck with it.
Yeah. Shout out to my peeps.
You part Indian, right?
Yes, and like actual,
like native.
Part Indian, like native.
And then I also wanted to talk about this month. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I feel like that was something that we should kind of bring up, just to share with the community. One, bring awareness to what domestic violence is. And also that the fact domestic violence is not just somebody physically hurting you or putting their hands on you. It could be verbal abuse. It could be emotional abuse, financial abuse. Mm-hmm. All of those things, you are in a domestic abusive relationship. And, a lot of times people are in those relationships and they be like, very codependent. It'd be hard to break away from those situations. So it's important to bring awareness, to keep discussing it, and to keep letting people know that maybe they're not in a healthy relationship. Yeah.
Big emphasis on it doesn't have to be physical abuse to be abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like people should talk about that more, like in general. So maybe it can be easier for people to recognize.
Yeah, how they're being abused. I definitely didn't realize I was being abused. Like, I knew I was being manipulated to a certain extent, which I feel like can be a form of abuse or a tool the abusers use. Mm-hmm. But coming out the relationship, I was like, damn, I've really been getting abused for all these years. Like, that's wild. I literally didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just knew it didn't feel good. And so that's why your feelings are so important, and you should follow your intuition and how you feel about stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes just getting a vibe off of somebody when you first start dating them should be enough to stop dating them.
Yeah. Sometimes we love those red flags, though.
I mean, yeah.
They be looking orange and not red.
Toxicity feels good if that's what you're used to, especially if that's the household that you grew up in. Sometimes it's normal to you, and that's what you go looking for. Somehow it's exciting.
Yeah.
But it definitely can be dangerous. So many people, especially women, have lost their lives to domestic violence. Mm-hmm. And, that's why we got to keep talking about this.
Yeah. And also, men can be abused too.
Absolutely.
It's not just a thing that women go through only. Men actually get abused all the time. Y'all can talk about that. But, yeah.
This actually remind me of Love is Blind. Wait, no, The Ultimatum. Mm-hmm. The last season. We didn't finish watching it because it just really wasn't given, to be honest. Mm-hmm. But one of the black couples, they was just actually featured on Essence. Oh. And I can't remember who it was, but you'll know because they was just featured on Essence last week. And it's her and him. One of them already had a kid previously, and then they recently had a baby, so they gave them like a whole photo shoot. And it was like very weird because you could see on the show that they had a domestic violence relationship, but it was the woman that was abusing him. First of all, she took him on the show and gave him the ultimatum, and then when she got there and realized he was going to be engaging with other women, she started being abusive to him. Not only verbally abusive, but physically abusive. Mm-hmm. And you could tell it was normal for him by the way that he reacted, but he also was embarrassed because other people were seeing it. And you could tell it was normal for her because she wasn't hiding it. Yeah, she just did it. She just started reacting. And so, absolutely, I'm glad that you brought that up, Like, y'all be needing safe spaces too. And sometimes men, they be having this pride, like, I can't be getting abused by a woman. Mm-hmm. And another thing that I want to bring up is sexual abuse that happens to men by the hands of women. Every time people want to make it seem like, oh, men are being molested by other men, but we're not talking about the amount of boys who say they lost their virginity at 13 years old to a 25-year-old woman or something. Mm-hmm. So disgusting, so disturbing, and women can be abusers too.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, what are you making time for this week?
Well, Rejuvenating.
That's what's up.
I'm working my way through rest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, been sleeping a lot. Now I need to fill myself up.
What you gonna do to fill yourself up?
Play video games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What you making time for?
What am I making time for? This week, I'm really making time to set myself up for success in business. I think I really have fall off completely with my business, period, with anything that I'm doing outside of the podcast. And I think it's time for me to start pouring more energy back into that. I'm starting to have more opportunities. And honestly, I'm more aware of my power. And I'm like, why am I not using this? Why am I not sharing all this knowledge that I have? And so I need to get back on it.
Yeah.
Follow my YouTube channel, by the way, Manifesting with Karmic Side Gal. I'm literally so close to being monetized. So if every one of y'all that watch this video go subscribe to my personal channel, then I could be getting paid to YouTube, and then I'll feel more encouraged to make content.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Big facts. And that link is always in the description. So.
Well, without further ado, I've got time.